You'll love the video. Your veins are going to explode when you watch this because it's a moron responding to a moron. It's so good. And this Noah guy fucks up so badly. The guy he's responding to will take one position and he'll take the opposite. Then later the guy he's responding to takes a different position. And then Noah takes the position the other guy had at the start. It's fucking bonkers. It's like a musical chair video essay. We have a video to try watching today. We'll see how it goes. It's a reaction to a response by an idiot to an idiot. So it could be amazing, and it's about the Dove body positivity stuff, and neither of them know what the fuck they're talking about. It's pretty good. It's really good. I watched about 5 minutes of it, and I was cringing my ass off. Watching a woke broke video. Let's go. This video is Anti-Wokeness, a Nonsense Ideology by Noah Samsen. Is that Ivy from Soul Calibur? That's Melanie Mack. I remember her from eating too much meat and not drinking any water. Was that the meme where she had to go to the hospital for dehydration? There is Smo or Smaug. There's a lady who probably to be in best health. It's not so much the weight, it's more the body composition. Lara Croft's triangles. Is that Adam Sandler? I don't know what that is. Anyway. So, this video was recommended to me, and I saw, oh, it's Anti-Wokeness, a Nonsense Ideology from 2 days ago. I decided to look at it. I watched like 5 minutes. I feel like this video is terrible, but the bonus is, this video is a response to another video that is also terrible. It's perfection. It's one of the greatest things I've seen, and I've only watched a couple minutes of it. So let's break in. There is background information. This guy, Noah Samsen, and the guy he's responding to have apparently done a back and forth, but he explains that. That's my understanding.
A big reason why obese people aren't in these kinds of games is because they can't actually do the physical activity that the characters are doing. No one who is 400 pounds is doing the kind of marathon running that video game character.
So this is the video that Noah Samsen is responding to, I believe, and yes. Please. Stop.
Do to get from place to place, nor can obese people jump around like an acrobat to slay demons.
Yes, of course, the most unrealistic aspect of a fat video game character slaying demons is that the character is fat and not.
But then also, it's incredible, dude. The response is also insufferable.
Not that they are, slaying demons, famously realistic and existing demons. Hey.
Demons are real. We just call them Democrats.
Hey, a little while back, I saw a video from this anti-woke, anti-SJW channel called Think Before You Sleep.
Holy shit, that thumbnail's good. Hex, did you make that? Think Before You Sleep. Did we watch a Think Before You Sleep video? I feel like we did.
I made a response to it because it was an odd video, in my opinion, and I thought...
So they have history. Noah Samsen has responded to this guy before.
It'd be fun to do a little more writing training on something like that. For every one of my essays in school, I phoned it in, so I truly do need the practice. I was hoping that he would eventually respond to it, and lo and behold, and whatever other stuff, he did. Why woke content is trash, the video is called. There's me.
So there was an initial video trashing woke stuff. Noah Samsen responds. The guy responded to Noah Samsen's response, and this is Noah Samsen's response to the guy's response to his response. There, we're caught up. We ain't watching the other stuff. We're just watching this one.
On the thumbnail, hi to me. It's a video about my video, which was a video about his video. Big drama alert. Woke Keemstar signing in. If you need to get up to speed, all these videos are linked below in episodic order, but if your brain just can't handle that sort of relentless pounding, I'm going to try and give as much context as is necessary. This video from
Thank you, Noah Samsen.
Before You Sleep has 4 main arguments. We're going to go through each of them, but before we do, I want to start off with a smaller point concerning the term woke. I think this will be helpful to frame what this channel is sort of all about. After that, we'll get into the meat and the potatoes and the broccoli and sour cream for the rest of it. But for now, let's go. Okay.
He listed more food. It's a turn of phrase with food, and he listed more food.
So in my first video, I made a sarcastic remark about the vacuous nature of the term woke as it is used by conservatives. What does wokeness mean in this case? Well, we're going to find out, I'm sure. When conservatives attempt defining that term, the definitions they give are almost always incoherent and contradictory. Think Before You Sleep, though, was kind enough to provide a very simple, direct definition for us, one that I thought was interesting.
Here we go.
Let's hear it now.
Here we go.
Roll the clip. Well, we're going to find out, I'm sure.
Communism. Woke means communism.
See what I fucking mean? Like, they're both the worst.
Now, the breadtubers love to say, that's not what that term means. It used to mean something else.
No, it's not. It's the fucking other way round. It's shit that's like a piece of what contemporary so-called communists adopt and operate under. It's not. It's fucking backwards. That's backwards. That's fucking backwards as fuck.
As some sort of gotcha on the anti-woke crowd, but
almost everyone who's woke or could be described as woke isn't a communist. Stop. No, that's not right. But also, by who? By who? By who? The real. Okay. I've been performing. Let me be real with you for a second. People not agreeing on a definition doesn't mean the word's empty. It just means there's no consensus on the definition, or within different smaller communities or different audiences, it's used differently.
Words change meaning all the time, and it was the communists who were using the term woke, and thus, that's what the word means now.
Okay, so the first question to ask here is that if the Dove ad is woke,
even if you agree with him that it just means communism, his argument for it is fucked.
According to him, that means that it's communist. Where is the communism in that ad? How exactly is it communist? What are you talking about? This point goes totally unexplained, other than him talking about who used the term and exactly is it. The Dove ad is woke. According to him, that means that it's communist. Where is the communism in that ad? How exactly is it communist? What are you talking about? This point goes totally unexplained, other than him talking about who used the term initially, which is not a definition of that term. Now, with that said, in a sense, Think Before You Sleep is not wrong here. To conservatives, the words woke and communist are extremely similar in the way that they are used. These terms mean, roughly, stuff that I, as a conservative, don't like. Little
often true, and it's based.
Joel, the linguistic research channel, his definition is spot on here, I think. As woke, meaning just left-leaning politics, liberal stuff.
Woke, it means liberal. It means being a liberal. It means having liberal politics.
Wait! I'm gonna have a seizure. I'm gonna have a fucking seizure. This guy says woke means communism. He's wrong. Let me use another YouTuber as my source to let you know that woke actually means liberalism. I'm gonna have a seizure. I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna actually roll around on the ground having a seizure. Stop. This is horrendous analysis. This isn't linguistics. Die. Instantly. If you say I'm a linguist and you do this, you're gonna die. You should, God should strike you down.
Particularly about race and gay people. It means liberal.
Conservatives' inability to coherently define these terms doesn't make them meaningless, far from it. They can mean anything conservatives want them to, because...
Wait, so you don't... Whoa! Wait, you don't agree with the guy you just... put up? Wait. Hold up.
These terms mean, roughly, stuff that I, as a conservative, don't like. Little Joel, the linguistic research channel, his definition is spot on here.
Joel's definition is spot on. So Joel's definition is what it means when people say it, and it is what people mean when they say it. He just said this definition is spot on.
I think. As woke, meaning just left-leaning politics, liberal stuff.
Woke, it means liberal. It means being a liberal. It means having liberal politics, particularly about race and gay people. It means liberal.
Conservatives' inability to coherently define these terms doesn't make them meaningless, far from it. They can mean anything conservatives want them to, because they...
You're saying this is demented. Is he saying that it means liberal values because this guy said it means liberal values, but conservatives use it differently? If conservatives are using it towards anything that is just liberal, then that means its use is consistent, and you have a coherent definition in saying it means anything liberal. However, if it means anything liberal, then a definition of it that is an example of something liberal is still coherent and aligns with that. If your friend is right in his analysis that when conservatives say woke and when woke is said it means something is liberal, then it can't also be true that conservative use of it is all over the place. Otherwise, your friend's definition will be wrong. This is insane. It's like, it's not even getting to the point where he has to clash with reality. It's just internally inconsistent, the point. It's fucking me up, dude.
They are catch-all terms. And how do we know this? Well, just look at all the things that they use woke to describe. Identity politics.
Whoa. Hold up. You're gonna flicker this on? I think defining woke requires an analysis of all the different ways it's used, because it's used in different ways by different people. Not just, it's used by conservatives this way. No, it's used by this group of conservatives this way, this group this way, this online micro-community this way, this online larger community this way, these kind of people is used this way. To say that different people aren't using it in exactly the same way is a flaw of the usage of it by the group they both belong to. Just isn't how it works. Also, he flickered this on the screen for identity politics. Ben Shapiro says, wokeness claims, 1. Western civilization and its institutions were and are discriminatory and serve the purposes of those in power, typically white straight men. 2. That discrimination is both historic and ongoing, and all group disparities are explained by it. Discuss. I'd say that's a little bit more general than an example of identity politics. Probably hung up on Ben in brackets saying typically white straight men. I would say that if he wanted to be the people he's characterizing, you probably don't need to say typically. But I don't know that I'd just say this is an example of someone saying identity politics is woke. Weird.
Identity politics, climate change, getting vaccinated.
Hold up. I need this guy to do this video again, but to do this section about based. What does based mean? Based on what? I got my friend to define it, and he said basically it's anything a right-leaning person thinks is good. Here's my favorite person of the day. This lady needed to get to work, and she wasn't about to deal with woke climate change protesters shutting down the highway. This isn't even the same as saying climate change is woke. There's a clear connection to the way they're expressing themselves and trying to get change as well. It's more complex than this guy is making out. Even just looking at it as someone who likes to look at how words are used and which people are using them, how they're using it. He would probably, I imagine this guy would be like, climate change is a woke thing, but here, it obviously carries more than just climate change. It's a broader characterization of these kinds of people and their behavior, and the way it creates inconveniences for people. Fine, don't wear a mask at your funeral. Okay, fine, don't get jabbed at your funeral. Okay, fine, don't get boosted at your funeral. Okay, fine, don't wear a mask at your funeral. You're fucking retarded. I'm seeing a thread. We have 2 dots, so we have a line. Wokeness is people who are presenting themselves as good or applying themselves to a cause, or really just inconveniencing people and being scrubs or whatever. That's what he's presenting here. Whether that's not an accurate definition. But what we don't have here, I would say, is woke means climate change. Woke means vaccination. It's a new term for politically correct. Learn more here, Amazon link. Right. I'd be careful about using someone trying to advertise a product as your basis for an understanding of how a word is commonly used by people in everyday speech. I would be very wary if you were going to talk about how is the word woke used to sell products. Maybe you use this. Oh. You're clutching pearls because Martha Stewart used glacial ice in a cocktail, but you're happy to see children undergoing gender reassignment procedures. There's a 100% chance that you're a woke communist scumbag. Even in this tweet, he doesn't say woke is communism, like the guy in the video he's responding to does. He's saying that anyone who does these two things is a communist who is woke. a woke communist. He could be typing a tautology. Maybe he thinks woke means communist. But using an example of someone calling someone else a woke communist doesn't mean they think those two words mean the same thing. I don't...
Liberalism, two ideologies.
Whoa! Must-watch video as 14-year-old girl humiliates woke liberal school board. So you have someone describing a hypothetical person as being a woke communist, i.e. a communist who is woke. You have someone here talking about a school board being woke liberal, so liberal and woke. And now this guy's misunderstanding, perhaps willfully, of this to mean that the first person is saying woke means communist, and he's saying that this guy's saying woke means liberal. No, the first guy is describing a communist who is woke. This guy is describing a liberal who is woke. But there are more layers to it. There's at least one more layer. These are two different fucking people. Even if one said woke means communist and the other one said woke means liberal, so what? It could just mean one is wrong, or they could be talking about its usage in different contexts by different people. Or, true, both could be wrong, but, they couldn't be wrong, frag, actually. Because they're not saying what it means. They're just using the word. Neither of these people are saying what it means. They're just using it. But yeah, true. In my hypothetical where one says woke means communist or the other says woke means liberal. Wait, this guy thinks woke means liberal. Wait, he cited it the other YouTube guy who was going, woke just means liberal. Shouldn't he be going, I meme, therefore I am, is correct. This is the definition I said was spot on. Why isn't this, if he thinks this guy is saying woke means liberal, shouldn't he say this guy is spot on? Because he just said the other YouTuber who said woke means liberal is spot on. This Noah guy knows that this guy isn't saying woke means liberal, is characterizing him as saying woke means liberal, having said that he believes woke means liberal by saying someone saying woke means liberal is spot on, is now saying woke means liberal is wrong. Because it contrasts with a different person saying woke means communist. It's bizarre. Is this your brain on tribes? Is this just fucking tribal people? We had at the start a guy going woke means communist. This Noah Samsen guy goes, here's this other guy who has the real right definition. He says woke means liberal. Now he shows someone who isn't saying woke means communist but says the guy says woke means communist. Implies that's wrong. This guy says woke means liberal. Now this isn't correct. It's literally just based on who said it. It's bizarre. It's so weird. Sorry. Sweetie, you said something right, but another bald person said something contradictory to that that's wrong. So actually, you're wrong.
Liberalism, two ideologies that are definitely the same thing. Just ask any communist on Twitter what they think of liberals. They're going to say a bunch of really nice things. Black
I think we just got everything explained. I have a feeling this guy does ask the communists on Twitter for a lot of information.
mermaids, black actors in general, really, LGBTQ education, fat people.
Whoa, hold up. Everyone is black now. Lord of the Rings, we're woke. Bro, I don't know this Ryan Keanel guy. He could just be like, I hate black people, but I doubt it. People, especially when it's fantasy stuff, they're attached to their originals. They're attached to their originals. When it's significantly changed, they don't like it. I think if they had been changed to something other than black, people would also be making videos shitting on it. Oh, we're zooming forward, boys. So this guy's definition of wokeness is, here's my version of wokeness, an ideology that imposes identity politics, social quote-unquote justice, thought policing, climate hysteria. Here you have an example of, oh no, he specifically says climate hysteria. He could mean all concern about the climate is hysterical, or is climate hysteria. Or he could actually be making a differentiation between real concerns and people being alarmists or whatever. Neo-racism, queer pedagogy, and socialist equity using statist, corporatist, cultural enforcement. That's what the thing, Angrim, I don't know Jim Hansen. I don't know Jim Hansen. A person could call all concern about the climate hysteria, or they could use it to differentiate between real concern or not. I was just saying I don't know which it is from him because I do not know him.
liberalism, two ideologies that are definitely the same thing. Just ask any communist on Twitter what they think of liberals. They're going to say
So having read that Jim Hansen definition, how does Noah characterize
a bunch
it?
of
I don't
really
remember.
nice things. Black mermaids, black actors in general, really, LGBTQ education.
Queer pedagogy is very, very, very fucking different to LGBT education. Bro. Also, he has a big old fucking list of other stuff.
Fat people in marketing, and
This Dove thing is woke as hell. We're gonna come back to this, though. We're gonna come back to this. My personal usage, although I've said, to look at the definition of it, it's used so broadly and by so many different people, and people argue over what it means, you can't just give one definition. You can only talk about the word woke in terms of how people use it, how a specific group uses it. I lean towards the veneer of justice, the veneer of being a warrior for justice, not really operating on leftist ideology, but trying to salvage what you can from it wherever you can to make things sound convincing or create an appearance of fighting for justice or doing the right thing that other people shouldn't question because you're smarter than them, elite, whatever. Well, actually, you're just acting in your own interest and being manipulative. That would be the way I go. So there are connections to liberalism, communism, Marxism, whatever, but I think they're much more shallow than people make out, and it's more like they're just ripping anything they can and try to use.
And my personal favorite, large corporations. Famously
Yes.
communist capitalist corporations. I just thought it was interesting that he basically treated this point as self-evidently true, that woke means communist because communists said it once, when anyone outside of these anti-woke echo chambers would know that that is just a very easily disprovable falsehood. But okay, let's move on now to the main points of the video. Here we go.
Here we go.
First up,
Dismissing
a primary
statistics.
point in this video concerns women's representation in video games. Dove, in their real virtual beauty ad campaign from the last video, they present.
The thing is, I agree with Noah Samsen. You can't just go, woke means communist. Obviously, there's more to it. The way people use it is all over the place. But this fucking guy is the guy who went, oh, my buddy got it spot on. He said, woke means liberal. No, both terrible.
Women's representation in
Okay.
video games.
Back.
Dove, in their real virtual beauty ad campaign from the last video, they
Remember this? Remember this? I looked at this.
presented some statistics about this topic, which were the basis for the campaign. The stat in question here reads, 2 out of 3 female gamers in the UK say that there's a lack of representation in video games. For context, last video, Think Before You Sleep argued against this statistic by pretty much saying that he doesn't believe it.
Where did you get that number? Did you simply ask 3 of your British friends? Because there is no way that most British women are eternally offended snowflakes who care about that kind of stuff.
Fucking wait. Just wait a second. Prepare yourself, boys.
In this video, his first argument against this statistic is that the research behind it wasn't cited in the ad, and therefore we must assume that it is incorrect or a lie.
Okay,
At the very least, you shouldn't assume random shit a company that's trying to sell you soap says is just true.
so I'm supposed to do Dove's homework for them? Dove is the one who brought up the data. They're responsible for telling the audience where their stats came from. It's not my job to Google it for them. If someone gives statistical data and doesn't say where they got it from, then the proper thing to do is to take it with a grain of salt or assume that they are lying.
Now,
He said, take it with a grain of salt or assume that they're lying. Is Noah Samsen going to argue that if a soap company tells you something is true about a population's response to a poll or something and doesn't cite it, you cannot take that with a grain of salt? You have to have faith in Dove?
this is interesting because while I do agree statistics generally should be cited, that makes the process of fact-checking easier. A lack of citation doesn't inherently mean that statistics are false. That
Yes, but there's a total absence of evidence that it's true. If we operated on the standard that unless you could disprove something, if someone just says it's true, you accept it as true, someone can just shit out a ton of lies and then, oh, guess I have to just believe it until I do a ton of work to disprove it. So if the guy Noah's responding to were to say, actually, my research shows that 0 women say that, would you have to take what he said as being, oh, you can't take that with a grain of salt, you can't say it's false? It must be, it doesn't mean, look, him not citing anything or having any evidence that he did that research doesn't mean anything.
In and of itself is a bad argument against statistical claims, especially when data exists.
It's not an argument against statistical claims, it's an argument against Dove's presentation of it. It's exactly as it is. This is the part of the video I got up to and turned it off, and this is where I decided I had to watch it. Are you fucking ready?
Exist that shows these claims to be true, and we
listen to what this Noah guy said. Research exists that show Dove's claims are true. Is it what Dove was talking about? What do you think?
We actually found some of that data. In my video, I cited a survey that corroborated these claims from Dove. In the Opinium Women in Gaming report, the one that I presented, the data lines up perfectly with Dove's claims. When you actually ask female gamers, it turns out many of them do feel underrepresented in games. Instead,
ooh, hold up. That's weird, right? Why wouldn't Dove just say, it's the Opinium poll? Why wouldn't they just say, according to the Opinion poll or something? Here's the Opinion poll. It's true. It's real. Okay, it's all real. 1,361 UK gamers. Okay, cool. This poll is real. What Noah is quoting or whatever is real. It's true. This exists. Problem. Dove was citing research they published themselves. New Dove research co-published with Women in Games and the Center for Appearance Research. That research is apparently fucking impossible to find. You cannot fucking go, Dove didn't provide a source on this ad. Some other research backs up what they're saying, though. When in other press releases, Dove specifies where that number comes from, and it isn't here. Dove is not citing this paper. They're citing their own original research, which is fucking impossible to find a copy of, apparently. I searched the archives of, whatchamacallit. I searched the archives of the Center for Appearance Research, and I couldn't find it. Does he not understand the problem? Does he think it's okay to just pull stuff out of your ass, not cite, if somewhere there is a paper that agrees with you?
Feel underrepresented in games, instead of engaging with this data.
Additionally, hold on. 2 out of 3 female gamers in the UK say there is a lack of representation in video games.
The data lines up perfectly with Dove's claims. When you actually ask female gamers,
on the claim there needs to be more female characters in video games in general, is that the same as saying they say there is a lack of representation? That's not the same thing, especially with how loaded the term representation is. It's also a bit more than 2/3. Dove would probably say, if they were going to fudge it, they'd say 7 out of 10. They wouldn't call 69% 2/3.
Turns out many of them do feel underrepresented in games. Instead of engaging with this data, though, Think Before You Sleep initially spends a lot of time just decrying the labor of having to do Dove's homework for them, when he very well knows that this is a terrible argument against statistics. He's not addressing the numbers, he's just...
Let me listen to this again.
One that I presented, the data lines up perfectly with Dove's claims. When you actually ask female gamers, it turns out many of them do feel underrepresented in games. Instead of engaging with this data, though, Think Before You Sleep initially spends a lot of time just...
He said Dove is just putting that number out there and not citing anything and not connecting it to anything. You went and found something else that they weren't citing that is kind of in the ballpark of what they were saying and is a different number to defend Dove. Is there just a hamster wheel running? Of course the guy you're responding to is going to point out, what the hell are you doing? Instead of just, no, you have to ignore all that, just deal with this number.
Crying the labor of having to do Dove's homework for them, when he very well knows that this is a terrible argument against statistics. He's not addressing the numbers, he's just...
He didn't have the numbers. Why would he have to argue? Why would he have to? Oh my god. Dove just put a number out there. Didn't even say where it came from in this ad. They just plop. And even then, there's a really big problem with Dove saying that 2/3 of women don't feel represented in video games. There's a really big problem that is not being addressed, and I find it weird. Who cares?
This wasn't in the footnotes, and therefore I shouldn't have to take this seriously. The fact that this study wasn't cited below the ad does not invalidate these statistics.
They weren't even... Oh my god! The ad, besides not citing it, wasn't referring to this study. It's not even a study, it's a poll. It's a poll you're referring to. It's something else entirely. Dove just throwing a number out there, giving no one access to how they got that number. That doesn't invalidate that an opinion poll done by someone else exists. Sure, but he was responding to Dove's marketing.
Argue against it, you need contradictory data, and think.
If someone shits a number at you without citing where it comes from, or they cite where it comes from and it's impossible to get access to where it comes from, you have to accept it unless you have contradictory data.
Before You Sleep does not provide any of that in this video. However,
there's also something sorely missing. You can also take issue with the methodology, you can take issue with the sample, so on and so forth.
he does eventually address the survey in his video, but when he does, he dismisses it in three fascinating ways. First up, he argues that the study is biased because of how they represent the differences in time spent gaming between men and women.
Let's take a look.
Oh my god, I did watch this. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. I remember now. I watched probably like 8 minutes.
Look at this study that Noah found for us. Diversity in gaming, thought leadership. Let's look at the results. It starts by saying that women play games nearly as often as men, just 2 hours less than their male counterparts. Well, I don't like the framing of that at all. That's not nearly, that's a full 20% less. Nearly would be the difference of a few percent, not 1/5 of the total amount. So we're off to a great start with this study trying to make it seem like women play games significantly more than they do. This study isn't heavily biased at all.
So
prepare yourself.
10 hours of boy gaming versus 8 hours of girl gaming. He doesn't think that those are nearly the same because 8 is 20% less than 10, and that's too much percents for him. So this study is biased and can't be trusted.
Yes, it's 20% less. It's 1/5 less.
A glass half full kind of guy, I would like to point out that 8 being 20% less than 10 also means that 8 is 80% of 10, which is, it's a lot out of 10. To act as if 8 and 10 aren't close numbers is, I've never seen such pure, unfiltered, raw Chernobyl levels of cope, especially when those numbers are describing hours spent playing video games in a week.
This part damaged me. Yes, hours spent gaming in a week.
That means is that the women in the study play games on average an hour and 10 minutes per day, whereas the men play on average an hour and 25 minutes per day. That's just 15 extra minutes per day.
In 100 weeks, men play 200 more hours than women. That's why you look at the percentage. Because it plays to your biases. To look at it on different timescales. It fucks with your perception of it. I feel like there was no thought about this at all. He just went, I want this to seem like a small number. I'm going to do the things that make it sound like a small number, instead of looking at, oh yeah, wow, look, if a man plays for 1 second, a woman plays for 0.8 of a second. If you try and count that much time, you can barely tell the difference. You might even... If you're going to click and then click again in a second, you might even click in 0.8 seconds. It's barely any difference. Holy fuck.
Girl gamer hours affected by inflation or something? Is the exchange rate between those shit right now? I don't get it at all. The next way that he dismisses this
even then it doesn't really matter even.
Study is...
That's the thing. It's a pleb fight because who cares?
Where he just straight up lies about what it says on the screen.
But let's take a look at the number that Noah pointed out. It says that 69% of women say that there aren't enough female characters in games. Dove's ad was about body positivity, so by their statements, a reasonable person would infer that Dove was implying...
Right. He should have quoted it exactly. I wouldn't say he's lying, though, because I don't think that really changes the meaning. There needs to be more female... 69%. Wait. Whoa! Did we just get mind-fucked? Wait, the question is, to what extent do you agree with the following statements? Wait a fucking second. Oh no. Oh no! I think this guy's fundamentally misunderstood. Wait a second. Let's look at this poll. Female representation in video games. Women's representation in video games leaves much to be desired. Our research found that video games inadequately represent and give due diligence to female characters on screen. On average, gamers ranked the representation of female characters on screen as a 5.3. Are these numbers the average of the score out of 10 people gave? Because the header here is, to what extent do you agree with the following statements? It is not, do you agree with this, yes or no? So this doesn't even say that 69% of women agree with it. It could mean the average score of all the women is 69%, or 6.9 out of 10. But then it says percent agree. The percent amount you agree, or percent of people? Oh no. This doesn't even say the same thing as what Dove was saying. Our research found that video games inadequately represented and give due diligence to female characters on screen. On average, gamers ranked the representation of female characters on screen as a 5.3, with 0 being not represented well at all and 10 being represented in the best possible way. So they're giving people out of 10 questions and then taking the average. 3/4 of female gamers feel female characters' body types portray unrealistic beauty standards. But now this says it's 3/4 of female gamers, as if they said yes, but then the title here is, to what extent do you agree with the following statements? I think this is broken. We can't actually tell what this says. This is bizarre. This is bizarre. Is it, do you agree? Yes or no, and 77% said yes. But then it says the question they were presented with is, to what extent do you agree? So they weren't giving yes or no, they were giving a, presumably out of 10 like they were in the previous one. Insane. 3 in 5 female gamers find that the storyline given to female characters often lacks. But if it's not yes or no, if it's to what extent do you agree? To what extent would the following solutions improve gaming industry's relationship with representation to women? So here it shows you that there's would strongly improve, would somewhat improve, wouldn't really improve, wouldn't improve at all. Gamers call on companies to take ownership. For the gaming world to become a safer space for females, video game companies need to look inward. What are these quotes? Quote, representation is everything and girls need to see all shapes and colors of girls in their games doing exciting things, not just playing house or looking after animals, but going on adventures and exploring. Who is this a quote of? They've just put a bunch of quotes here. Who are they from? Oh, true. Girls' needs. Female gamers often don't have control over the characters available to them on screen. What? Do you mean like the NPCs? Female gamers often don't have control over the characters available to them on screen. The storylines video game companies write. Yeah, pretty much all the time. No one who plays the games controls what the stories are, or who is hired in the industry. No shit, they're just people who play the games. I don't have control of who's hired at the sandwich shop I eat at. It's up to industry leaders to implement change. So, women who play video games should be able to control, if there's a character on the screen, they should be able to control all of them. They should decide what the story of the game's going to be, and who gets hired to make the game. What the fuck does this mean? More types of women need to be represented. More outfits which are modest and also look beautiful. Muslim women often don't feel comfortable playing characters which don't resemble them in real life, for instance. We need hijab mods and niqab mods. Okay. Did he read this? I don't think either of them read this. This whole section is an abomination. It doesn't tell you anything. They're treating it as if the percentage is how many said yes, but the question is, how much do you agree? Is it 77% said somewhat agree or strongly agree, and they're just mashing them together into said yes? Bizarre. To be fair, we don't even know the split. It's 1,361 UK gamers aged 18 plus. They do not tell you how many male and how many female. This does not say how it was done. What the hell? Opinium.com. What people think, feel, and do. Thought leadership is what we do. We inform and shape public conversations through research and insights. We do brand and communications, empowering brands and organizations to tell their stories better. They are offering to fabricate shit for you so you can have better ads. They are offering this on their front page. This isn't what Dove used. They are a company that makes research to make your ads better. Just so you know I'm not lying. Thought leadership, informing and shaping public conversations. Us as an unbiased set of researchers want to shape public conversation. By the way, we also empower brands and organizations to tell their stories better. We do stakeholder understanding. We keep you in touch with the people who matter most, from customers to employees. We optimize products and services for launch, from ideation to development and validation. Literally just take 2 seconds to look at where this shit is coming from. Yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason this is fucked up and you can't tell what it says. This was made to support an ad. It is insane to take Dove saying something and then say it's fine that they said it because the data exists, and then present this.
Characters in games. Dove's ad was about body positivity, so by their statements, a reasonable person would...
74%. Hold up. 74% of girls feel underrepresented in video games. There is no 74% on this poll. It's so obviously not the same. It doesn't line up. This Noah guy said it lined up, it doesn't even line up. Insane. Insane response video.
Implying that 2 out of 3 women believe that there is not enough body positivity representation in video games. Not that there aren't enough female characters. Those two things aren't the same.
True.
More women does not equal more body positivity. If these are actually the stats that...
Nor does it equal more representation. Because Dove's study, allegedly, we can't find it. Dove's study, the pieces that Unilever and Dove themselves put out, talk about women feeling misrepresented. They specify it's misrepresentation and not feeling represented. Not that there's a lack of women, but that the representation is bad, is what their stuff's about.
Dove used, then they are lying to you or wildly misrepresenting that study.
See how he bakes in this assumption there that this number must be about body positivity, because that's what the ad is about, even though that's not what the statistic says, right? If you look on the screen, there it is. The statistic saying lack of representation.
Yes, which is not the same as there being women. And if you look at Dove themselves talking about it, or Women in Games, who co-published the paper that Dove is supposedly citing, they discuss girl gamers feeling misrepresented and finding there's a lack of diversity. It's about that, yes. Their work to combat that is to have different looking women. Make models of different looking women. It's clearly not about there not being women.
Not body positivity. I genuinely can't tell if he's being dishonest here or if he just refuses to accept this because he doesn't believe it. But again, statistics are not invalidated by one's refusal to believe them. He actually does this again.
So if someone says a number, it's true until you can disprove it. He really is saying this. What Dove said isn't backed by that other study. Yes, I could just say something. It could turn out to be true. But why should you believe it unless I can back it up? They didn't back it up. And Noah hasn't backed it up with this other poll. This poll made by a company that offers to create papers and polls to support your ads. Is that not sus?
in a different spot in the video. This one's kind of a digression, but I think it's really funny. He tries to justify one of the claims from the last video that one of the most common things women ask for in relationships is leadership from
excuse
men.
me.
I laughed this point off when he initially made it, but he doubles down on it again, so I think we should address it.
This, by the way, is coming from the people who will say, "Source, bro, where's your source, man?" on literally every claim that you make after telling you that you should Google all their data for them. Particularly when one of the most common things women ask for in a relationship is leadership from men.
Source? Can we get a source?
Gee, I didn't know I needed a source for common knowledge. You know that's an exception in research, right?
They are both retarded?
Next, he's going to ask for a source on what color the sky is.
So we're both using the common knowledge exemption there, right? I use it when I laugh off that claim for just being insane, and he does it when he invokes the dating tips clause.
You don't think this is a common knowledge exception? Well then,
You just
who has
disagree.
to ask who out on the first date? Is it 50-50? Or is it almost exclusively the men initiating the relationship? That's leadership because leaders are the ones who go first.
These are both of our versions of common knowledge, right? So if it's his version against mine, how do we break this tie? Well, we just Google it, right? And what do you know? Look at that. When you actually ask women what they want in relationships, leadership isn't even in the top 5. I think
Clue? We asked 64,000 women. Now, okay. You can ask a million men what they want. The results aren't necessarily what they really want. Problem. Let me just check if there was even the option for that. How was this done? Clue, 64,000 women. Like, the insane thing is, the guy he's responding to me, sounds like he's just pulling stuff out of his ass. He's saying, oh, it's common knowledge. It's a survey. Clue, the menstrual cycle tracking app used by 12 million people around the world wants to break taboos and challenge assumptions. So, it's already, like, it's people who will use a menstrual app. That might warp it. Hold on. Last year, we joined forces with researcher Tanya Gerlach at the University of Göttingen and My One Condoms to conduct one of the biggest and most comprehensive surveys ever done about what women look for in a partner. More than 68,000 people in 180... Let me stick this on screen. My bad. There's something I want to see, though. Kindness is key. Looks, not so much. What were the options? There's where is financial insecurity very important? Where is education very important? Political similarity. Some notes. The survey included cisgender and transgender women and men, genderqueer and non-binary people, and people of other genders or who did not wish to state their gender. The results here focus on cisgender and transgender women. Respondents were asked to rate the importance of different characteristics on a scale from 0, not important at all, to 6, very important. So people were not providing their own answers. It was a scale of 0 to 6 on options provided to them. Do you see what I'm getting at? In other words, the original guy said most women look for leadership in a man. It's very important. Noah's response is, oh, these guys did a poll and leadership isn't even on there. Leadership may not have been even on there as an option for them to rate. Hey, in this questionnaire that didn't include leadership as an option, no woman picked leadership as being very important. It's not mentioned as a trait that was low. We don't know because they don't seem to give us full access to everything. Maybe we can try and look deeper. But they show us the top 5. And then they show us more. Leadership doesn't show up. Leadership doesn't show up. Unless someone can find otherwise, I don't think leadership was even an option for people to enter into the poll. So, this doesn't mean anything as a rebuttal. You've just thrown a nothing in response. Bizarre.
what they want in relationships, leadership isn't even in the top 5. I think
Not even in the top 5. In fact, it wasn't even an option for the respondents to the survey.
he underestimated just how bold of a claim he was making there, because he compared an easily disprovable falsehood with knowing that the sky is blue, which, you know, that's fun. It's very sassy, very catty from him. Ooh, meow.
Wait, he thinks he easily disproved it with a period tracking app's poll that didn't include the option that would support the other guy's claim. Okay.
Ooh, meow. These unsubstantiated dismissals of statistics are made because, at his core, Think Before You Sleep just doesn't believe stuff.
Unsubstantiated dismissal of a number Dove made up that Noah is saying is okay because another poll made by people who create polls to support ads that brands want to push out has numbers kind of close with phrasing kind of close. This is insane.
How could women care about representation when he and the people around him do not? Of course, women want to be led in relationships, like kindergartners, you know. Being a line leader is a masculine trait, because that's what he thinks they want. Does what they say actually matter here? No, of course not. Because his knowledge is common knowledge, and, you know, that's all you need. If a survey says women feel underrepresented in games, it must be one of those woke gaming surveys.
No, it's way worse. It's a shill survey. It's a shill survey to support an ad, explicitly.
They ask a bunch of woke gamers woke questions wokely.
There's no way that much of the general population agrees with this woke narrative, considering that in places like America, half the population are conservatives who don't care about this, and tons of liberals are anti-feminist too.
Half the population, 170 million chuds. Can you imagine? January 6th is just like the Lord of the Rings. Don't put your anti-feminist fantasies in my head, man. It is truly fascinating, though.
Yeah, I think it might be more.
Watching him dance around for his audience and act like 8 hours of gaming is so much less than 10 hours of gaming, and act
in a vacuum, maybe. If you're only ever going to game 8 hours and someone else is only ever going to game 10, that's not that much difference. Doesn't seem like that much difference. If for every 8 hours you game, someone else games 10, over a lifetime, how many hours difference is that?
like not being able to find a study means that the study that we found is wrong, even though the study is right there on the screen proving the thing that he just doesn't believe.
One, it doesn't. It doesn't. Two, it's suspect as hell.
This is fun for me looking at that and going, what, man? Huh? Okay, on to Bumbadoo. Ooh, what's up? We're going to take a quick break to thank the sponsor of today's video, Morgan and Morgan. If you get personally injured in something...
There's too many Morgans. I'm not buying anything from them.
Like a car accident,
Look, it's redundant. You only need one.
You're entitled to a lot more than you may know. Hiring a lawyer for something like this can be a daunting thing, but with Morgan & Morgan, it's super easy. You can submit a claim in 8 clicks or less without ever having to leave your home. There's no going into a law office, there's no timely consultations, and you can stay in contact with the team of lawyers via text.
I'm gonna be real, I would not fuck with this. This is creepy.
In the internet phones. You can do this all from your phone, and that includes uploading documents. For more information, go to forthepeople.com or dial pound.
Wow, I wonder if there's a poll on forthepeople.com.
Law, that's pound 529 from your cell phone. Okay, back to the video now.
Right. Bonus content. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? That Dove ad launched 3 things. 1. Dove's library of female models that you can use in games and add to games. 2. Epic's real virtual beauty lessons, where devs can go to make real women in their games, or diverse women in their games. This campaign also launched something else that very few people have mentioned and perhaps are even aware of. Dove on Roblox, Super You Story. We're taking our Dove self-esteem project mission to the virtual world with the launch of a first-of-its-kind Roblox game, specially created to challenge unrealistic beauty ideals and build self-esteem in young women. Super You Story is the world's first video game specifically designed to equip young girls with the tools they need to help combat negative self-esteem. Yes, this is connected to the same study. This is what they're doing. This is what their alleged study motivated. Today, 1.3 billion women and girls play video games globally. Gaming has become a way to explore connections, build communities, and express your true self, and 60% of girls have started playing video games before the age of 10. But the industry is falling short in its representation of girls and women in gaming. New Dove research co-published with NGO, Women in Games, and the Center for Appearance Research shows that gaming still reflects narrow, unrealistic beauty standards. Girls aren't growing up with the female representation in video games that they need, and it's negatively impacting their self-esteem. Ready? Dove is going to fix that. As the largest provider of self-esteem education in the world, We've been committed to giving girls the tools they need to build self-esteem since 2004. Now we've created a first-of-its-kind educational game on Roblox to help girls between 9 to 16 combat negative self-esteem and build body confidence. Entirely free and available to play now, the Super You story experience brings the Dove Self-Esteem Project's mission into the modern world of gaming. Developed by female-founded and Roblox-led gaming studio Toya, and validated by our experts from the Center for Appearance Research, a co-publisher of their study. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to game? We have Super You Story by Toya. Figured we'd do a playthrough. Noah seems to want to tooth and nail defend Dove, saying, oh, it's fine that they pulled shit out of their ass and didn't back it up, because I have another study that seems illegitimate and doesn't say what they said. Okay, what are we defending here? What is really being protected by Noah? It's time to see. Also, maybe I should look at what other games they've made. Oh, look. Oh, I'm sure these don't have My Farm. I wonder if any of these games have insanely exploitative microtransactions. We'll have to check that out at some point, too. Here we fucking go, boys. Let me capture it real quick. We have to go back to the gaming screen. This is the world they want. Oh, yeah, this freak is my character. Just so you know. My camera has a demon emerging? Yeah, it's just me. Turning 11? Visit the academy. So it's also a pedophile hookup. Going fast comes in every color. Notice that the black man is in the front, though. All signs are welcome and appreciated. That feels like a lore thing. We are always here if you want to talk. Boys, I checked this just to make sure the game worked. We are about to experience Dove's solution. Dove's academic study, empirically proven method of fixing women's representation in gaming. We're about to see how women in games should look. They're gone. They're gone? They died. I tested this earlier. There were 2 women there, dude. What the fuck? Okay, whatever. We'll find more later. It's fine. Alright, we reached the academy. Flutter is the easiest social media app in the world. Like it, vote. Don't like it, vote. Okay. Follow accounts that make you feel good about yourself. This is demented. I hope the people I saw earlier when I came in are still here. Oh, there's a cutscene! Headmistress Kalani, she, her. Wait. For generations, children come here to awaken their unique gift and appreciate what their amazing bodies can do! What? Our trainers are body-confident champions that will help you use your gift safely and respect your unique appearance. This is pedo-y as fuck. Students, please come forward and choose 2 spirit cards from the table. I'm broken. There's a timer! Is this Slay the Spire? People with the strength gift don't let anything stand in their way. People with the water gift can move easily through water. What do you mean? As opposed to like, I jumped in I can't get out of the pool. I'm locked. Do you feel your gift waking up inside you? The color and shape of your gift are unique. Embrace them. I have given you the gift, young one. Soon you'll meet your trainers. They'll show you how to choose the appearance of your gift. That's called your signs. In a few minutes, you'll take the elevator to the trainer's hall. To be clear, this is what Noah and that other guy are arguing over. For now, explore the courtyard. Chat with your fellow gamers. My pets. Wait, enter code? Uh-oh. These look awfully collectible. Yo, Gamergate Shard, let's go. Hello. Beware, some images on Flutter have been altered using editing tools. Don't feel pressure to edit images of yourself. Show the real you? This is for 9-year-olds! They're telling 9-year-olds to show the real you on social media. This is explicitly for 9 to 16-year-olds. When you enter the game, it says, are you turning 11? Go to the academy. You go to the academy and the teacher says, show yourself, show your body on social media, show your body on social media, and glowing upvote. Bro. Why is there a fucking timer? Explore the world, you have 5 seconds. Watch out. Why is everyone male, by the way? So excited to show my trainer what my amazing body can do. You mean like running super fast? Yeah, and my brain's also really smart, said the Asian character. I'm gonna die. New students are encouraged to celebrate their unique bodies. Comparing how you look to others wastes time and energy. I was gonna put a filter on this, but I made a new friend at the academy and they just told me they like how I look no matter what. You mean you met a new friend in the online game where you don't know who you're talking to, and they told you that they like your body no matter what and want to see it? Actual fucking automated grooming station. Fatima! Why did they make the one with the big belly called Fatima? Like, I'm trainer Fatima on accounts of my fat. I'll show you how to use your new gift. First though, your headpieces. Signs are the outward appearance of our gifts. Each person with a strength gift gets a headpiece, but your headpiece won't look like mine. That's because headpieces come in so many colors, but all of them make you equally tough. Cool, right? Flex your muscles, take a deep breath, and let your signs grow. Choose your sign for the story. Let's go here. Envelopes, that warrior crown is what I'm talking about. Love it. And now that you have your headpieces, let's smash some stuff. I'm doing it. Ah! My body is retarded and broken. Please, have mercy. Ah! The Dove game is too hardcore for me. I think if the timer runs out, you just win. Yay, yay. Fuck off. You jump so high, you go over the fucking thing. Nice work. I got a new text. Being bullied about your looks? Tell someone, ignore it or block them. Follow people who make you feel good. Come on, man. Explore the training grounds. These are the only realistic... You might not like it, but this is the ultimate woman form. Oh, you can grope in this game? Why did the Dove game have, like, gropeable, rideable women? I don't know, that seems like a pretty precise ladder. They're climbable only to the exact point where your dick would be in their mouth. I'm just saying. And then it hard stops. I'm proud of what my body can do. I won't let you shame me. Do you follow Marzana on Flutter? Nope, I stopped following her when I realized she edits all her photos. Bro. Yeah, that girl with crippling self-esteem issues who edits her photos because she's not comfortable with herself? We're all gonna ostracize her because that makes me feel bad. This is the dining hall. Try lots of different foods, enjoy them, and make sure to listen to your body. What do you mean? Training your gift is hard work. You'll need energy to stay strong or your signs might start to fade. Watch out for messages that make you feel bad about your appearance. So, some people say the water gift isn't worth it, but look at my gills. I can swim for hours with these. Going to the academy today. Couldn't sleep at all last night, but my sister says that's okay. Sometimes you just gotta listen to your body. And not sleep. Got the flight gift and a troll on Flutter made fun of my wings. So I did an ebb and block. Nice. Can you actually eat the food, or is it just make-believe? There's no food eating mechanic? I've never seen Strength Warrior Crown before. They kinda look like a mistake. Actually true, it's clipping. I wish I could re-choose. Your warrior crown could have been any color, but they had to be strength. That's sad. No, it couldn't be. She came back. Vivian James. Bet you thought you'd seen the last of us. The newest students are here, huh? Look at them. Just as gross as the ones we had to put up with. I welcome former students of this academy, as long as they come in peace. But you're not just here to talk, are you, Marzana? I have been talking. That's my voice in your heads. And I'm the only one with that gift. You hear me, right? Telling you to doubt yourself. Telling you you're worthless. I hated being here. So did Inez and Daniel. That's Daniel! Everyone else got the coolest gifts and they were mean about ours on Flutter. Yours were unique. Comparing them to others only hurt you. No, they weren't. It's Siffy! Stop saying that. Everyone thought my gift was creepy. The ability to morph into a baby, but only during sex. I had no idea you were being teased on Flutter. I could have helped. Well, now it's too late. This is the actual music. Yeah. What is she? She's tweet. Why is she jiggling her belly? Leave us alone. These students haven't done anything to you. Oh, we won't touch them. We'll just do this. We will take over this academy. Once it's ours, we'll destroy it so no one else gets treated the way we were. Don't bother trying to get rid of the mental poison. You're not good enough to handle it. Inez, Daniel, come on. We have to take over the rest of the building. The way they fucking walk, dude. Thank you, Dove. Thank you, Dove. This is what women have been missing in gaming. It's up to you. You'll have to clear the mental poison that Daniel and Marzana created. Don't listen to the self-doubt put in your minds. Believe in your gifts. I'm believing. You gotta believe. Oh god, I'm believing so hard right now. Oh my god, I'm gonna believe. We did it. Amazing. Many students aren't at peace with themselves and their gift when they come here. But you couldn't stand against Marzana if your minds and bodies weren't united. If only Marzana had been the same. But when she came here, it took a long time for her gift to develop. On Flutter, she talked about how sad she was, but people just teased her for not developing fast enough. But then she did develop a gift. She could project her thoughts into other people's minds. Then she started using her gift and her Flutter to break people down by making them unhappy about their gifts. That way she could control them. One day she was gone. She left a note saying that she'd come back one day, and she'd destroy the academy because it was where she was bullied so much. It was a long time ago. I didn't think she'd really come back. Inez's barriers have become so powerful. I try to free myself, but you need to go back to your trainers. You may face Marzana again. And if you do, believe in your gifts and appreciate your signs. This is a psyop to fuck with kids. Oh, people who are mean are manipulating you. Listen to everything someone who says you're good tells you. Listen to that, listen to that. Sometimes I wish I'd taken a break from Flutter and spent more time with people who care about me. Loving all my new students and their signs, it takes time to adjust to newly flaming hair, but they'll do it. Okay. Oh, I teleported. I wish my sign's color was the same as my father's. It's the wife's a son meme. Life would be boring if we all looked the same. Damn, I wish I was white like my mom and dad. Hey, you showed Marzana who the real boss is. I'm so proud. I mean, I crawled out of rubble. But you might have to do it again. Wait, is that the unshaved legs character as well? With the energy in your muscles, you can punch the mental poison on that conveyor belt right out of the way. the blocks too, like that. She's seizing! Are they teaching kids? If your head hurts, just punch, just punch! You can dash around obstacles. Get in the ring, you rock star. Wait, watch this. I did it. I did it! Nice. Thank you, Dove. We're gonna do it. Jump strats? There's no friction in the air, okay? Ooh. Be careful! Mental poison will bring you down. You need to fill every last space in your mind with ads. If you stuff your brain full of ads, the mental poison can't get in. Hey, harmful ops. How does it feel to know you crushed it? And just in time, too. I've just received a message from Kalani on Flutter. Explore the meditation mats and gain extra lives while we deal with Merzana. Gain extra lives. Hey guys, I feel so much better about my body since posting more about what I'm doing rather than how I look. I'll try it. Coming back to the academy makes me sad. If only some stuff had turned out differently. If you see someone who looks like this, tell us as soon as possible. They're an ugly freak. Oh, okay. I will follow Flutter accounts that make me feel good. You think you can stop me with warrior crown like that? Ha ha ha. I will think before I believe the pictures and words I see on Flutter. I will like and subscribe. I will only use Dove products. Your sign looks so much better than mine. It's a literal head turd. Stop wasting time and energy comparing how you look. We need our energy to fight Merzana. Good point. Comparing my looks is tiring. I was feeling bad about my appearance, but then I checked in with myself and remembered we're all different. Appreciating my body right now. Do you want me to come this way? You have the power to violently attack women. That makes you unique and valuable. Is this God of War? No, my gift, it isn't working. My IQ is too low to engage with a psychic. Kind of impressive. Inez, focus. This is a disaster. I can't use my gift, and what am I supposed to say on Flutter? You overcame Merzana's thoughts. Amazing. I knew you could do it. Remember, nothing she told you about your gifts or your signs was true. She was just trying to make you feel worthless so she could take control. Hello, I'm still here. You certainly are, which means you must decide what to do with you. To the breeding pit. Since you helped, I want to know what you think. Should we let Merzana stay and learn to use her gift again if she promises to use it? I guess it said responsibly, I couldn't see. Or should we ask her to leave for a time? She can always return if she apologizes. Wow! Is this Mass Effect? Nothing happened to her. Sure, you can stay. The students say you should be allowed to stay, and I agree. You can train at the academy to help people and feel more confident in who you are. I'm angry a lot. I get so tired of being this angry. But if everyone knew what I was really like, they'd hate me. Oh, Merzana, you have wasted so much time and energy comparing your gift to others. Be kinder to yourself. You can do great things with your gift. Have you ever tried using it to tell people what you like about them? That's sexual harassment. Yeah, but that's so much harder. You want her to just psychically beam, hey, sweetie, nice ass, into people's minds? Yeah, because you're a good friend, I do it. You're always nice to me. See? Try it with Daniel. Okay, Daniel, you can create something with your gift. Something powerful. I didn't know I could do this. It's just a bunch of lights, dude. It's fireflies. Keep going like that, Merzana, and you'll make a good trainer of mental illness someday. Really? He can cast fairy fire, but only on himself. the worst mage of all time. Or worst cleric. Okay, we'll get started right now. I'm impressed. You're some of the strongest, smartest students I've ever seen. Don't ever forget what you did here today. You didn't just learn to love and respect your body, but you strengthened your gift. You also helped someone see the good and bad messages on Flutter. Wow, you helped someone look at Twitter. Nice. That's the kind of power that can change the world. Now go out and share the unique power of your gifts. We did it. What's up with these collectible pets? The end. Thank you for playing. Holy fuck. 2 endings? Yo, maybe they're back.
Marzana donated £1.
Oh no.
Hey baby, nice ass.
Thank you, Marzana. Thank you. I've been working on it. Oh, do you want to see the other ending? So yeah, these 2 guys arguing over that Dove ad campaign. That's the most substantial thing that came out of that. I don't know, brother. That seemed pretty woke to me. Yeah, we were watching a video. Okay.
The second main argument in this video is about the sexualization of female...
Yes, Revenant. That was just a small aside to dive deeper into the Dove ad.
Now. The second main argument in this video is about the sexualization of female characters in video games. His first point on that concerns the sexualization of female characters in video games. His first point on that concerns the practicality of Lara Croft's outfit from the game Lara Croft Tomb Raider. And yes, we're going back over this. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. This feels like an apology video with how much I'm apologizing to you guys. I should have just wrote the script down on my notes app and posted it on Twitter or something.
He doesn't fully clarify why he claims this outfit is impractical, but it sounds like he's saying it's impractical for physical activity. That's not true.
Is this gonna flip?
How are short shorts and a crop top impeding her mobility?
So, firstly, my argument that Lara Croft's outfit is impractical isn't that it impedes her mobility. It doesn't. It's impractical because in the game, she's getting shot at and attacked by dogs and alligators and other things that want to chew on you.
No, he's not making this argument.
A bunch of bare skin isn't a great defense against those sorts of things, you know? And that's
Oh, it's unrealistic. The clothing she's wearing is unrealistic. In the game where you get attacked by a T-Rex? Sorry, can I just remind you of how this video started?
A big reason why obese people aren't in these kinds of games is because they can't actually do the physical activity that the characters are doing. No one who is 400 pounds is doing the kind of marathon running that video game characters do to get from place to place, nor can obese people jump around like an acrobat to slay demons.
Yes, of course, the most unrealistic aspect of a fat video game character slaying demons is that the character is fat and not that they are, you know, slaying demons.
These guys are the same person. I don't get what's happening. They're the same person. But alternate reality.
Clarify why he claims this outfit is impractical, but it sounds like he's saying it's impractical for physical activity. That's not true. How are short shorts and a crop top impeding her mobility?
So, firstly, my argument that Lara Croft's outfit is impractical isn't that it impedes her mobility. It doesn't. It's impractical because in the game, she's getting shot at and attacked by dogs and alligators and other things that want to chew on you. A bunch of bare skin isn't a great defense against
Not getting bitten. Generally, okay, we know this guy knows it's a video game. It's a video game. Lara Croft isn't even trying. If it's a game that's trying to be realistic and it fails, that's a good criticism. That's a good thing to point out. Maybe if you're saying something that's right, you can point out that it's unrealistic. It's Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is pretty fucking wild. You have to fight a T-Rex in Tomb Raider. It's not good. You fight a T-Rex with double pistols and do like dives and stuff. This is not a game where practicality matters, and we know that Noah gets that because he talked about fat people in video games.
those sorts of things, you know? And that's what I said in my previous video, but here he just totally ignores that to talk about how you can wear this and run around, which is an easy thing to argue against, and it's not something I believe. Well played, Epic. Now, all of that isn't me saying that Lara needs to be wearing the Master Chief armor, nor that outfits in video games must adhere to some strict sense of practicality. I don't believe that. The reason I brought up this example, though, is because it's one of many cases in an observable trend of female characters wearing very impractical outfits for the the sake of showing more skin and showing more of their unrealistically curvy figures. Anita
Okay.
Sarkeesian, God bless her, she made this same point 6 years ago in the Feminist Frequency video.
She said a lot more than that, brother. She said a fuck lot more than that, dog.
Lingerie is not armor.
Female heroes in video games might be...
Sorry, what did he just say?
Anita Sarkeesian, God bless her, she made this same point 6 years ago in the Feminist Frequency video. Lingerie is not armor.
Female heroes in video games might be special agents...
He's joking, right?
...or soldiers or treasure hunters by trade. They often find themselves in dangerous, physically demanding situations, fighting off bad guys and saving the world. They are typically performing activities that call for practical or protective clothing. But when we look at the types of outfits that female characters are made to wear, we can see that they're both sexualized and completely absurd.
See, this here, all of these absurdly revealing outfits, they are impractical, but they exist because the game designers chose to make them that way. And why?
Yeah, that's something that's sick about games. And things that aren't real. What do you mean?
Why'd they do that?
I guess he's arguing against the guy who said sexualization doesn't exist. However, also, please, can we define sexualization? Please, please, please. Do you mean there are choices made that will appeal to someone on a level of sexual attraction? Is that what they mean? Also, I don't think we've seen the guy he's responding to say that sexualization doesn't exist yet.
That. Why did Chris Shrigley, Andy Green, Rob Toon, Terry Lloyd, Simon Phipps, Dave Pridmore, Jeremy Heathsmith, Kevin Norburn, and Greg Holmes make Laura wear this outfit? Well,
because they were all trans and fantasizing about looking like that?
Because they wanted to. But also, let's not play dumb here. It's for the boys. It's for boys and men who these games have always primarily been marketed to.
Hell yeah,
it's
brother.
for them to look at and say, damn, the video game...
I'm sure they don't have a problem with women who find that attractive either, though.
Lady is hot in a way that doesn't make any sense for the plot of the game, so say the boys and men.
Hang on. Let me listen to that again.
It's for the boys. It's for boys and men who these games have always primarily been marketed to. It's for them to look at and say, damn, the video game lady is hot in a way that doesn't make any sense for the plot of the game, so say the boys.
Her wearing this little clothing doesn't make sense given that she's fighting a dinosaur. I don't know, dog.
And men there. That's me quoting them. On this topic of showing more skin being sexualization, one of the stranger arguments from this video uses a comparison between Lara from Tomb Raider and Cynthia, a character from one of the animated shorts.
The foot fetish short.
The argument goes like this. If Lara is being sexualized for showing a bunch of skin, which he doesn't believe, that's what I argued. If that's the case, then Cynthia, the character from the Dove ad, must also have been getting sexualized because she...
Yes! If we mean sexualized as in designed in such a way to be sexually appealing to a certain demographic, this is 100% fetish content. This is, yes. Both of these guys are wrong.
She was wearing pretty much the same outfit, showing just as much skin. Why is Lara being sexualized and Cynthia isn't? He asks, gotcha-ingly.
Are you really going to tell me that this outfit on Lara Croft is an impractical sexualization of the character for the male gaze? But Cynthia here, who is effectively in the same outfit, is not a sexualization of the character?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Why?
And here's why. There are two important differences between these two examples. The first one is...
Yeah. The foot and armpit fetish design is way more in your face about being what it is.
Context. Cynthia is wearing this outfit alone in her dressing room after removing her armor. This makes perfect sense in the plot because that's what a dressing room is for. It's for...
They didn't have to show that to us. Bro, it's not fucking real. It's not actually a person in a dressing room. You're telling me that if there was a scene, if Lara Croft was covered up, and then there was a scene where she went home and we looked at her take a shower, get naked, and like fuck herself with a sex toy, it would be like, that's not sexualization because it's just realistic. It's what she'd do when she got home and she wasn't in public. No, it's shown to the audience. It's not private. It's not, the distinction isn't real. It only exists within the context of the media. People aren't saying, okay, most of the time...
What's going on? Why does everyone suddenly have autism?
Shut up!
ロードベンシエピロウンスランドチアード X100 イフアニータサルキージアン made content today would she be considered a bread tuber?
No, I don't think so. Maybe though. Thank you very much. Oh my god, fucking stop! Most of the time, Lara Croft isn't... It's not sexy. Lara Croft isn't sexy. Alright, disabled. Fuck you, bitch. The idea isn't she's being sexualized to the NPCs in the game. It's to the audience. It doesn't matter. It's not sexualization. This guy has hooked onto it's sexualization when it's not for the plot, and it's not sexualization when it's for the plot. That would mean pornos aren't sexualized content if they have a plot and it makes sense. I can't even get rid of it, dude. What the fuck? I'm getting rid of this shit. I don't think you can fucking turn it off. There. Deleted. Alright. Okay. Both of these guys are the worst people. They've decided they have a position, and then they look at what's out there and what's happening, rather than looking at what's there and then developing a position from that.
It's where you change the more you know. Lara, on the other hand, is wearing this outfit for the entire game, despite how obviously impractical it is for her objectives. And yes, Cynthia ends up staying in this outfit as she goes on to continue filming, but I disagree that this means that she's being sexualized, and my reasoning for that is point number 2, character agency. Sorry, I forgot. In Cynthia's story, shedding her armor is her decision, as opposed to a decision made by a group of men trying to sell a game to other men like Tomb.
Does he think that character has a brain and a mind? Yes. Cynthia was also developed to sell products.
Raider. Lara didn't put on her outfit because it is fashionable for her body type, as Think Before You Sleep later implies.
Is she wearing that outfit because she's being sexualized? Or is she wearing that because the outfit is fashionable for her body type?
No character wears anything for any reason other than their creator deciding they do. And the creator might decide to do that to give the impression that the character decided that, but they never actually decide that this isn't real.
She didn't put on the outfit at all, actually. Some guys did. Cynthia has agency in the story for her outfit, unlike Lara, and using that agency...
I don't think in the lore of Tomb Raider the devs exist. What the fuck is this guy saying?
To wear clothes that show more skin is only sexualization if you make the choice to sexualize her for showing more skin. That is what...
And anyone who's into that will. Wait, make the choice... No. If it's shown to an audience that likes that sexually, surely that's, to them, sexual content. What do you mean? This is insane!
Think Before You Sleep does in this video by making this comparison. And then he does it again in a more intense manner at the next thing, which is the whole bent over ass shot scenario.
So now we have a bent over ass shot that is center of the frame that adds nothing to the story. They went full on anime camera angles, and somehow they're going to claim that it's not an attempt at sexualizing the character.
Now it sucks that we have to do this again, because this part makes me honestly pretty uncomfortable. But we do, because Think Before You Sleep here tries to weasel his way out of the perv allegations, and I just cannot let that happen. I'm gonna play this whole build-up clip for context, but just watch how he tries to justify his observation about the anime camera angle. When Think Before You Sleep sees this shot here, to him, it's the same as this shot here. When he looks at this shot, all he sees is this. He's so worked up about seeing a woman from behind that his brain fails to render the rest of the frame.
Actually, I didn't even notice this when I first watched the ad. I only noticed it because I was watching a woman review it, and she pointed out that Cynthia's outfit was sexualized.
So here she is, in less clothes, wearing less clothing, mind you, more revealing outfit. See that?
What the fuck does sexualized even mean at this point? What does it mean? Because I don't know. I've had many people say what sexualized means, and it's always different. But the problem is, typically, people will say sexualized and not fucking say what they mean. The way that makes the most sense to me would be designed in a way that an audience or portion of an audience will be sexually aroused by or get some sort of sexual appreciation of. You can do it without intending to do it even, surely. If he's saying the only difference is intent, how does that exist within the piece itself? It doesn't. Like, if you jerk off to porn, if you're jerking off to porn, and then you hear that the director intended it to be art with a deep meaning and not sexual at all, does your boner go away? What's the difference?
That's another part that really says to me that they don't care about sexualization. This isn't a modesty thing. She's wearing basically the exact same outfit that Lara Croft is criticized for.
To be fair, let me look this up again, because I'm not sure Dove ever said sexualization was a problem. Did they? They said unrealistic beauty standards. Oh no, they do. It's a quote. It is an uncredited quote. So often female characters in games play into a narrow stereotypical representation of beauty or are heavily sexualized, and it's affecting women and girls' self-esteem. How? Is it because they don't think they measure up? And if that's the case, and it's linked to the sense of unrealistic standards, it would actually make sense if they were trying to present a different body type from usual in a context that would be sexually appealing to certain people, because then it would mean, oh, if you have a body type like this, people do want to see it like that. But, I don't know. I'd have to ask the Dove people.
Wearing.
Notice that this lady doesn't ever say anything about the horny camera angle. She's talking specifically about Cynthia's outfit and how it shows more skin. Think Before You Sleep is the one bringing up the anime backshots thing, but he's sort of laundering that take in with the fact that this lady mentioned the outfit.
This is important information. To be fair, Noah's right. It should always be pointed out that someone is a weeb.
As well. He's like, I would never do a pervert thing like that. See, even a girl agrees with me about how her outfit is revealing, so that must mean that.
Right. The insane thing here is Noah's arguing that it's not being presented in a sexualized way, and also arguing that the immediate effect it has when shown to certain men is that it turns them on. Does that not suggest it's sexualized?
That seeing her from behind is inherently sexual. That's sexualization right there, what he's doing. If this is his defense against the pervert allegations, well,
doing? What is he doing? It's not voluntary. If you think he's turned on by it, Dove did it to him. What do you mean?
Should have went to Morgan and Morgan, because right now it's looking like a life sentence in horny jail. So stupid. Stupid joke. The last point about sexualization that I want to talk about here...
Wait, him saying that's sexualization, saying those poses and what she's wearing is him doing it to her. Why isn't him saying about Lara Croft him doing it to Lara Croft? None of this makes fucking sense. And no one's ever going to talk about it from the most basic level and build up so we know what's behind it, because it's not a position with a foundation. It's a conclusion that's been adopted and then anything that supports the conclusion. So it's just fucking wank. It's so annoying.
Regards body proportions, his argument here goes something like this. Slim, curvy women exist. So, criticizing that body type in female game characters as being sexualized is a way of sexualizing real women that have that body type. There's nothing inherently sexual about this figure, and if you consider it sexualization to see it in a game, then you're the one doing all the sexualizing, you little
Wait, Noah, you just said this to him. Wait, what?
Is she wearing that outfit because she's being sexualized? Or is she wearing that because the outfit is fashionable for her body type? Allow me to clarify this, because Noah's line of thinking is something that many people use to attack women for how they were born. Two different women can wear the same outfit, and whether you're a slut or not is determined by your body type, not by the clothes you're wearing. These are similar tops, except one girl has curves and one doesn't. Can you tell me which girl is going to get called a slut?
So,
either, depending. What the hell is that?
Think Before You Sleep here acknowledges that there is a stereotypically sexualized figure in our society and culture, the slim woman with curves. As he says, the person on the right is more likely to be sexualized by society because of her figure.
To be sexualized? He said called a slut.
And this is something we actually agree on. However, he doesn't stop to wonder why that figure, the one he is admitting is more likely to be sexualized or called a slut, as he puts it, why that body is so overrepresented in games. All of these characters.
So the games aren't sexualizing it, they're using an already sexualized body. That's something else, even. So, wait, is his position that the games and videos aren't sexualizing, they're utilizing already sexualized bodies? That's why the Dove one is different, because it's not utilizing an already sexualized body. But then how does a body become a sexualized body? Through what mechanism? There's no overall system. He's talking about anti-wokeness being a nonsense ideology. Whatever Noah's got is fucking nonsense as well.
Have some variation of that body type, and that might make a more self-aware person wonder if the video game industry has a sexualization problem. I don't know. The last thing
is it sounds like he's shifted and now he's saying like we're hooked on sexualized bodies, not that we're sexualizing them. What do you mean?
thing to touch on in this section is where he accuses me of body shaming thin, curvy women for the way that I edited my video by censoring thin, curvy Lara and not average-bodied Lara.
Wait, did he censor thin Lara but kept fat Lara fully in view?
No, Noah, you have to say that's a fucking joke. This could be a joke. He could be joking. No.
Do you not understand that you're body shaming curvy women? This is a body type that real women have. Noah, even you're doing it. I initially thought this was a mistake and he just forgot to censor it because everything else was censored, but this specific image was referred to multiple times and only thin Lara was censored. Unless he doesn't watch his videos for mistakes before uploading, this was done.
I don't do that, by the way.
On purpose. Do you not see why I say that body positivity in the cultural zeitgeist is solely about obesity? Noah spent the whole video saying it was wrong for me to criticize obesity because it's air quote body shaming obese people and that will make those people depressed, but then he straight up body shames.
What the hell is Noah gonna say about this? If he says anything other than it's a joke?
Thin curvy women.
Yeah, gotcha. I see. You said this and you did it. Gotcha. Briefly, to his last point there, that body positivity is only about fat people.
No, can you address the core?
Remember that this ad campaign also represented disabled women. Sam, who is in a wheelchair, and Lily, who has Down syndrome. It's not just about fat people. You know, why lie here? Why? I see this point.
Where else in the video did you talk about disabled people other than to use them as a point? This guy complains about dodges and isn't answering why he blurred skinny Lara and not chubby Lara. This feels like it's not a joke.
Being made a lot by anti-wokeists, and it's maybe the most deliberately misinterpreted crap ever in the history of ever. The reason fat people are often the focus of body positivity campaigns is that their representation throughout history has been very bad, obviously worse than people who aren't fat. Fat characters are played for laughs, or they are used as plot points for being at their lowest, being defective, needing to go on.
Yeah, often obesity is a side effect of lots of bad things culminating. What do you mean? What is this tangent anyway? By the way, what's the difference between having Down syndrome and being fat?
On their glow up arc, etc. Addressing these stigmas is not the same as shaming people that are not affected by them. And that seems self-evidently true, but in woke bad land, the woke badlands, you can't be doing that.
Okay, but why did you blur thin Lara?
Sort of thing. You can't be doing all that. To address the other thing he points out there about my censoring.
Yeah, like the only thing he points out.
To understand this one, we need to take a little peek behind the YouTube creator curtain. This video on upload kept getting demonetized. The reasons were not specified with a timestamp, as is often the case, so I just started censoring stuff that I figured YouTube might consider sexual.
You did one at a time? You did one at a time instead of just doing all of them? And the one that was left was the fat one?
Content or inappropriate, much to my annoyance at how it affected the video's presentation. I censored all of these characters, but after uploading that version, it was still ad restricted. So I censored Lara, the one referenced in this same section with all these other people. Interestingly, the video was then cleared with the censors that I applied, despite neglecting to censor average size Lara. And no, that wasn't intentional. It was a 3 a.m. please clear so I can post this final pass in a few hours editing mistake, much like the one with the forehead being censored that he pointed out. You
I don't know, dog.
have to believe me, and that's whatever. But whether it was intentional or not, to me, plays
At least he recognizes that it's scuffed.
second fiddle to the fact that it was cleared with only one of the Laras censored. I can't say for sure because, again, there's no timestamp given, but potentially what this might say about here is that the bot only clocked sexualization with the thin, curvy Lara. The one on the right wasn't considered, which is interesting, right? Again, this...
No, it's not, you dumb shit. You didn't test all of them. It could have literally only been that one image. It could have just been that Lara, and then all the other thin women could have been fine. You didn't test it with a version where it was just thin Lara censored. It could have literally just been her. It might not have been her and not the fat one. It could have been her and none of the other women. You don't know. Actual 20 IQ Andy.
Is speculation, but I am having trouble coming up with any other reason as to why this might be the case.
You didn't even fully test it.
Other than, you know, the YouTube system is a little bit broken, and of course that's also true. Could just be that, but you know, maybe it isn't. Maybe it is, but maybe it isn't. I don't know.
Fat people and some other stuff. Are you implying that other stuff means fat people are also stuff?
Third main point today concerns fat representation in games. To start off, let's look at a smaller argument about this. How fat people aren't usually in games because they're too fat to be doing the stuff that characters in video games do.
On that note, speaking of realism...
Yo, he's ending with the thing he's right about.
A big reason why obese people aren't in these kinds of games is because they can't actually do the physical activity that the characters are doing. No one who is 400 pounds is doing the kind of marathon running that video game characters do to get from place to place, nor...
This guy's point could be better if he said it would be tonally comical. It's not because that would be unrealistic. Of course, it can be unrealistic in a game. You can have unrealistic shit. But you could also say, like, having a fat person do, like, backflips and run up walls and shoot and stuff would come off as comical to an audience most of the time. And that's typically not going to be the tone a game's going for, but sometimes they might.
Or can obese people jump around like an acrobat to slay demons?
Yes, of course. The most unrealistic aspect of a fat video game character slaying demons is that the character is fat and not that they are, you know, slaying demons. Famously realistic and existing demons. The same critique could then also be applied to the demons themselves, right? Like, fat demons shouldn't be a thing, not because they're demons, but because they're too fat to be doing all that demoning all over the place. Midway through fighting Ornstein and Smog, smoke starts blowing out of this guy's ears because Smog isn't taking water breaks. I love that. So I love it so much. Also, I don't know if Smog is a demon or just a big skin.
It's Smo.
Golden boy, but the point stands because I say so. All right, on to the broader point here about fat representation. So I must admit that in my prior video, I made a mistake. Well, two mistakes. The first mistake was the way that I made one of my arguments. I argued that fat representation in media can help promote healthy habits. I did this using a series of studies. First, one that showed how
positively associated with hedonic and eudaimonic well-being in British adults.
Positive self-image is correlated with good mental health. Then one that showed how...
You mean versus feeling like you're an ugly fucking goblinoid? Glad we have a study on that.
Good mental health is associated with healthy habits. In hindsight, this line of argumentation is not great. It's a stretch because it relies on a lot of correlations. A good chunk of Think Before You Sleep's video covers this flaw in argumentation. And even though, as Think Before You Sleep pointed out, health at every size education can help fat people improve on their health, he points this out and then dismisses the study, much in the vein of what we saw before.
And I certainly have never seen a real-life example of this stock footage of a thin person eating junk food and an obese person not being able to lose weight despite eating oranges. I have never seen that.
Yeah, if you eat enough oranges, you're gonna gain a lot of weight. What do you
play out in real life? And real obese people are always significantly overeating and eating.
Wait, what the fuck? Oh shit! Oranges have they have way lower calories than I thought. Never mind. 87 calories for a 200-gram orange. Oranges are based. I take it back.
Junk.
I thought oranges were like really calorific for some reason. I guess it's because they feel like I'm eating a gummy.
food.
Despite this, health at every size education is not the same as media representation like we saw in the Dove ad campaign.
It's the juice, because you're getting all the bad shit and in a big whack instead of all the fiber and shit.
So I'm hereby raising a white flag on that argument. I think it's a bad argument. Now, with all of that said, the real mistake I made here, I think, was playing devil's advocate with this point in the first place. The reason being, the argument that fat people being represented in media makes people fat is ridiculous on its face. Obesity has been growing in prevalence in America for like 80 years.
No, hang on. Let's watch a bit more.
Mainstream fat-positive media is a very new thing. How on earth does it make any sense to point to such media as some serious cause of obesity when clearly there are vastly more significant factors at play?
That doesn't mean it's not. That doesn't mean it doesn't. That could mean it hasn't, if it never happened before and is now happening. If this thing hasn't happened before, and in the past it didn't, but there were fat people, that doesn't mean the new thing won't cause more people to be fat because there were already fat people before it. What do you mean? Oh my god.
Sincerely interested in promoting healthy habits. Why is your first target media that, destigmatizes fatness? There are far more worthy targets to that end, like the corporations that heavily market unhealthy foods, or the regulations that have shifted how agriculture is subsidized,
Well, what about this instead? Why not? Why not, bro? It's just some guy on YouTube. Why shouldn't he look at that media? Why not? Why don't you look at this instead? Don't feel like it.
the use of healthy ingredients or the lack of access to healthy organic foods in places like food deserts. Now, in his first video,
I have to eat 5 Big Macs. Do you know how expensive organic artichokes are?
Think Before You Sleep does bring up Dove's parent company and how they also own a lot of junk food companies, but his critique is not actually about those companies. It's targeted towards body positive media, which again doesn't make much sense considering how little sway, basically none, that actually has in regards to the change in public health over time. I don't think.
How do you know? You just said this shit didn't happen before. How do you know what effect it has? How do you know what effect Dove might be hoping it has? The game they produced, or the game they endorsed as part of their campaign on the back of this alleged study that might not even exist, encourages you to eat and eat and eat. Just saying.
Shaming fat people is good, and I think destigmatizing fatness is fine, because stigmatizing it doesn't actually do anything positive. And remember, of course, that the sort of response we've seen to this ad,
it's not even necessarily along those lines, though, is it? Not hating and mistreating people for being obese is different to being like, yeah, it's totally healthy to be 4 feet tall and weigh 400 pounds. They're two different things.
From the anti-woke crowd is not about promoting health. Obviously not. These aren't health channels, they're anti-woke channels, which are political channels. Anytime they're talking about health, they're just concern trolling to continue their political project of decrying degeneracy in media. Fat people are real, they exist, and their inclusion in media should not, in my opinion, hinge on whether or not that fat person is running on a treadmill and eating celery. Limiting their representation as some roundabout individualistic way of getting them to lose weight is insane, full stop, because video games and media.
Who's he arguing against? What do you mean? The other guy suggested that games don't have fat people running around like that because it's not realistic. Noah, correct. Well, it's a game, they could do anything. You could try and steal man and get to the point, like I said, like it might be an issue of tone, it might be about how the audience receives it, etc., etc. That's separate to body positivity, healthy at any size stuff.
Aren't and shouldn't be instruction manuals on how to live your life. So, to conclude here,
wait.
Should not, in my opinion, hinge on whether or not that
Hold
fat
on.
person is running on a treadmill and eating celery. Limiting their representation as some roundabout individualistic way of getting them to lose weight is insane, full stop, because video games and media aren't and shouldn't be instruction manuals on how to live your life. So, to conclude,
Why do you give a fuck about anything else in the games then? What's the problem with sexualization or the way women are presented? You used Anita Sarkeesian as an example of someone who's right about this stuff, and her argument is that it carries the same cultural memes that lead people to commit sexual assault. That is suggested in one of the videos, that someone's attitudes towards women that lead to sexual violence can come from watching a video game and the representation there, that it functions as a guide to life. The crazy thing is, I 100% agree with this take right now. That is not your take, though. That is not your take. You're saying it's your take because it benefits you in supporting the idea that you've come to this conclusion, but it undermines your other conclusions. This is... You can't believe this and all the other stuff you've said. It doesn't work.
Here, yes, I agree with Think Before You Sleep that I failed to make my case about body positive media helping people lose weight. But my clarification here today is that I shouldn't have to, because it doesn't need to. Media doesn't need to be helping people lose weight all the time. Just media like this.
Wait, is he just being very specific and arbitrary? Like, it doesn't need to help them do this, but it does need to help them do other stuff?
Can and should exist on its own, and proving that shouldn't require that some weight loss contingency be implemented. It's silly. Chill out.
Wait, why should it exist? It's not an instruction on how to live your life or anything. It shouldn't change how you live or view yourself or do anything or go about your life. Why does it need to exist?
Everybody, leave fucking fat people alone. Damn. His final point in this video is a call to leave your internet politics echo chambers. His lead up to that is making the case that my channel and other left-leaning channels like it are echo chambers that discourage you from seeking other perspectives.
There's so much evidence that Noah doesn't see stuff like this because he lives in an echo chamber and doesn't actually listen to the opinions of people.
This feels like a personal beef point. Let's go. How does Noah deal with personal beef or characterizations about him and his behavior? Let's go.
On the opposing team with an open mind.
Now, to start off, I do want to point out that whenever I've done these types of response videos, I've always told my viewers explicitly to go watch the stuff that I'm critiquing, and if they're going to engage with it, to do so in a respectful manner. I did this with my response videos to him, and with all the videos of mine that he cites as examples of my echo chamberingness. I feel like that on its own is the opposite of echo chamber behavior, but mayhaps, that is not enough for you. Maybe you're saying here, well, Noah, only a small number of people are actually going to do that. Most will just watch your video, and if you're misrepresenting the source material...
Oh, he is Siffy. That's why I picked this video to look at. It's fascinating. You'll love the video. Your veins are going to explode when you watch this, because it's a moron responding to a moron. It's so good.
And then they'll have no idea, and that's an echo chamber right there. And that's fair.
And this Noah guy fucks up so badly. The guy he's responding to will take one position and he'll take the opposite. Then later the guy he's responding to takes a different position. And then Noah takes the position the other guy had at the start. It's fucking bonkers. It's like a musical chair video essay.
Fair enough, I guess. But also, that's sort of a problem inherent to this platform. This is just how people consume content and how they subscribe and watch creators that often just agree with their political views. To some extent, all channels will have echo chamber tendencies because of this. Think Before You Sleep is no exception either.
Unless you try to break it.
People came straight from his video to comment on mine, either
To Coke. To Coke? Is that how you pronounce it?
Regurgitating his arguments all over my face and mouth verbatim, or telling me to kill myself, or calling me a pedophile, or calling me weird looking. Woke Flanders is fine. I'm fine with that. Flanders is pretty hot, in my opinion, sometimes. Many are saying this. Or, most often, calling me a dummy that got owned. And that's normal. That is YouTube in a nutshell. Audiences failing to actually engage with these ideas beyond repeating what their fave is saying, or using their fave's points as an alley-oop to an epic own dunk. But it is just another example of how echo chamber tendencies are what happens on here. However,
right, Noah, this other guy said of you that you're like not willing to engage with the other side in good faith and that you stay in an echo chamber. He's not talking about the systems and trends. He's talking about you. You could say like, I'm sorry, bro. I am the way I am, and I'm always going to be biased to act this way towards people who disagree with me. I can be a bit primed to be confrontational or whatever, but it is what it is. I think it's the same with you. And look, I try and look at this other stuff, blah, 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 blah. But he's saying this.
However, Think Before You Sleep later makes a more specific critique, which is leftist content creators' alleged fear-mongering about the algorithm.
It's funny how they'll say that they aren't in an echo chamber when they are constantly trying to convince people that watching your first Jordan Peterson video means you're only about a week away from joining the alt-right. Statements like that are called fear-mongering. That's someone who doesn't want you to look at opposing viewpoints.
What he says there is a misrepresentation of what we mean when we talk about algorithms.
What we mean? This is wild. Normally people who will clump you into a group, and like earlier with the definition of woke, he was like, these guys' definitions don't line up with each other. They've failed. They're just different people. That's their interpretation of how it's used or how they want it to mean, whatever. Normally, they'll be like, I am me, it's just me, I'm an individual, and then lump other people. This guy actually is Geth. He views himself as part of the collective. Here's what we mean. It means any defense of what he said, it will also be a defense of all his buddies. That's creepy and fucked. I don't like it. Actual hive person. Breadtuber Noah Samsen didn't like Chud Logic's thumbnails, so he falsely accused him of being a pedophile and grooming children. Bro. Noah Samsen said, pedo freak streamers like this one should be rounded up and melted in a large cast iron cauldron, he said of Chud Logic. Bro. I used the word pedo because he is a 37-year-old man who groomed minors in his Discord. That's a pedo. It's good to know if you're chatting. If you don't want to tell me, that's cool. I'm 33 old. Boomer. Boomer. Yep, that's me. I'm legal, so you won't get in trouble if that's what you're wondering. Wait, the evidence that he groomed minors is someone telling him that they're legal? Oh, sorry to ask. That's why most people ask. Awkward much? If it's just inappropriate for me to be flirting with someone who is underage or even young, like 18. It's supposed to be half your age plus 7. I don't know, sorry, I'm awkward. Don't be. This is someone saying they're not a minor. No, even if it's real, in these screen caps, Chud didn't do anything wrong. Sounds like he even backed out of it. What? Yeah, this isn't... Come on, man. Also, if Chud was a pedo, he would have found Lex Updog attractive. Anyway. He's obviously not.
Rhythmic radicalization. The point isn't that people...
Yo, I swear. Now this looks like because Chud's raided me and sent viewers over and stuff and talked positively of me. Now it looks I'm like, oh, alright, Chud, mate, that Noah Samsen guy, I'm gonna get him. This is a coincidence. I didn't even know that had happened.
People are incapable of viewing alternative perspectives without turning into extremists. I've never argued that, and none of the leftist channels he's probably talking about, I've never seen them say this. The real...
You've never watched fucking LeftTube then. What do you mean? What do you mean? That fucking alt-right pipeline paper came out, and they were all on it. Talking about, you let things play, just think about these young minds. Look at the YouTube autoplay. Oh.
The real argument is that the algorithm does play a role in how people discover political content, and that role can be very harmful and shouldn't be ignored, especially when young, impressionable people are the target audiences.
No one said that. By the way, here's that thing we didn't say, just in more diplomatic terms.
I have similar gripes with the right-wing radicalization pipeline narrative. I think it's pretty overplayed. I think the primary push to detail this wasn't actually from any of the creators people have decided to label BreadTube, but from think pieces with anecdotes that often relied on wishful thinking about the function of left-wing content on the internet. I also think that the YouTube landscape has changed a lot since, 2016, with the platform cracking down pretty hard on the more extremist channels.
Yeah, like me. Harmful opinions. What did that blog post say? Harmful opinions, champion of the white man has been banned. What the fuck do you mean?
So-called ends of the pipeline. With that said, though, to act like the algorithm isn't still a problem, isn't still something that leads people into harmful, regressive rabbit holes, that is just an uninformed perspective. Just look at the kids getting brainwashed by manosphere content. They're quoting Andrew Tate in class, they're displaying...
Did the YouTube algorithm do that? Sounds like they find Tate and then consume his content. It doesn't sound like they're going down a path. It sounds like this is people finding Tate. You also, I think, have to be aware that Tate's strategy is... It's not like he's just behaving normally and then the algorithm picked him up. He incentivizes people spamming his shit everywhere. He has a strategy to overcome any potential limitations in the algorithm spreading him. Oh, what's this Noah Samsen picture? 60 weeks ago, Noah Samsen hanging out with Ethan is online. What? How is everyone connected? I don't think I've ever, even when I was like a rising YouTuber in the anti-SJW sphere, I don't think I ever met another YouTuber. My private communication with other YouTubers, very, 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 very limited. I talked to Sargon once, ever. I talked to Layman on like Skype a little bit about random stuff. I think that's about it. Yeah, true. Armored Skeptic considered me a friend, despite the fact that we had never spoken. Oh no, I know it's normal for people to talk to each other, but it's like, why? Unless it pertains to work or collabs or something, why? I'm pretty reclusive. I don't regularly talk and hang out with people. But if I did, it wouldn't be with... It's not people from work, but it's like people from work. I wouldn't... You get me?
Playing extremely misogynistic behavior. They're sexually harassing their classmates. All things that teachers weren't reporting before kids started watching this crap. If think before you sleep's individualistic logic is to be applied here, then problems like these will only grow in prevalence. No, I don't think you turn alt-right after a week of watching Jordan Peterson videos.
It takes 2 weeks. True. The only person I'd say I know, personally, is my girlfriend. To be fair, to some degree, I transplanted here 8 months ago. But yeah, even back in Tame, didn't hang out with anyone. Old school friends once in a while. Yeah. Like I'm happy. Like I do when I'm doing stuff online, like games or stuff, I do talk to people. Like a stranger once. You ever seen Fight Club? Single serving friends? But instead of it being on a plane, it's solo queue. I don't remember what Randomer Cam was saying. I don't think I even looked at it. I may have seen I remember Randomer Cam tweeting or something. Was he the one who was like, "Oh, you're so cool, you're the cool kid"? I don't know, dude.
A week of Jordan Peterson videos is going to right-wingify your algorithm like crazy, and this algorithmic change is an echo chamber, its own form of echo chamber. And unless you are really taking into account...
Sorry for interrupting this constantly, but yeah. I mean, I say hey to random people and we'll talk for like 1 minute. The place I live now, people have an accent I find very difficult, so most of the time I'll talk to someone for like 1 to 3 minutes and not know what is happening and hope I haven't agreed to something, but I will say hey and talk to people if they slow down or whatever.
How this is shifting on your page, which I think for a lot of people isn't an easy thing to do. Read tons of comments from people that have been into these spaces. That's not good for people, you know? Most viewers will see a perspective and not become a psycho from it, but the ones that can't...
Let me jump back. I need to tell you. So there's a guy who lives down our road. He's always doing like DIY stuff. You can hear drilling and whatnot. And I was outside drilling the house number back onto the front of the house because Lucky Bee, I took it off for Lucky Bee and then she painted it fresh with higher contrast colors. And then I drilled it back on. And while I was drilling it back onto the front of the house, or like, you know, screwdriving it back onto the house, the guy from a couple houses over comes by and I'm like, "Oh, hey, look, I got new numbers." And then he starts talking to me. It sounded like he was talking about doing work. I think he said, you probably heard it. And I was like, yeah. And then he's like, my feet are white. And he looks down at his feet, and now my feet are white. I'm like, yeah, I see. And he's just like, and then he walks off. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. He was friendly though.
right after a week of watching Jordan Peterson videos, but a week of Jordan Peterson videos is going to right-wingify your algorithm like crazy, and this algorithmic change is an echo chamber, its own form of echo chamber. And unless you are really taking into account how this is shifting on your page, which I think for a lot of people isn't an easy thing to do, read tons of comments from people that have been into these spaces. That's not good for people, you know? Most viewers will see a perspective and not become a psycho from it, but the ones that can't, they are not helped by this pipeline. This argument is,
if you put something on my YouTube feed, I'm more likely to be biased towards thinking the opposite. Because I'm so primed to be combative and critical.
is made under the guise that everyone logs into the tube as an unbiased centrist consumer of content, when they don't. You know, obviously that's not the case. This stuff affects people. Studying and outlining the harmful effects, I don't think that's a bad thing. It's not fear-mongering, it's just...
I thought he was suggesting the opposite. I thought he was suggesting people come to YouTube already leaning a certain way. Like a lefty isn't good, someone who has left sympathies isn't going to become all right on YouTube. It's only going to be someone who's already leaning that way. I thought that's what he was getting at.
Being responsible, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. And that's it. So to give some concluding thoughts here briefly about this video, that's how you can tell I'm not that practiced of a writer, that I end my scripts with, in conclusion. Throughout all of society, in the world, has been my thesis statement. To give some concluding thoughts here, I think large corporations are bad. I think ad campaigns that support them are also bad. But I think that fat people being in those campaigns is a pretty normal thing. And freaking out about it to the extent that anti-woke people do is weird. It's just seems...
You haven't even seen the whole campaign though. You haven't seen what I've seen. You haven't been on Roblox.
A little like insane. I don't care that much about what video game characters should wear, but there are clearly trends in games that depict women in an overtly sexual manner for no real reason. And whenever in
many games you can pet the dog for no real reason. Why does there have to be a reason? Why does there have to be a reason for anything in a video game?
Woke channels deny this, it's silly and doesn't make any sense as an argument. So, you know, that's why I talk about it here. All the other points, you get it. If you watched, you understand. So maybe you don't, maybe you disagree, comment below, go ahead. If he responds to this, I guess it's just going to be another even longer video. If I have the fucking energy to do it, let's do it. But
no, I'm good though. You carry on with that. I'm just dipping in. I'm just seeing how this is going. It was on my feed.
Perhaps new source material would be a good place to start. So yeah, that's it. Sorry for the delay. I've had a bunch of stuff going on IRL, which means in real life for those of you that are like me. Got some more videos on the way soon. Hope you are fine, and I'll see you later. Thanks for ciao.
That's what I say every time I leave a restaurant. Thanks for ciao. What videos does he normally make? Oh my God. Masculinity hot takes, male living spaces, Jonah Hill and therapy speak abuse. Oh my God. What the fuck is this channel? YouTube shorts keep getting worse. And it's pearly things and Blair White in the thumbnail. Revisiting black pill content. Are they eating rocks in China? Where else we got? YouTube shorts for men. Men guess women's body counts. Sneeko and the Soy Boys. Manosphere YouTube shorts, hot masculinity takes. Is this like Andrew Tate injecting exogenous? Sorry, I'm too manly. I can't remember the female sex hormone. Estrogen, yes. Some estrogen, maybe some progesterone. I know hormones. What else we got? Visiting black pill. Thing is, a lot of this shit I would rip on for sure, and it would be fun. But there's just something about this guy. Dissecting a YouTube reactionary. Is that Leafy? What is this? The Vosh effect. Fatphobic comedy is the worst. You know what bothered me with Leafy? Hey kids, want to see how to make a hormone? Sorry. There was something with Leafy that really bothered me. people would say, that's not satire, right? They'd say it's not satire, and then they'd say satire is, and then they'd give an example that was parody. Satire and parody are two different things. Sometimes something can be both. Often something is both. But satire can just be shitting on someone. Just fucking roasting someone and meaning it. It is satire. Just something that annoyed me. It's ideally meant to elicit disgust. More than laughing. More than just good-hearted giggles. Oh no, that's not satire because it wasn't just a good-hearted giggle. No, it's kind of comedy, but it is meant to like make you feel disgusted and hate the thing, hate the subject, dude.